looking good, Italian Job.
Man, I'm feeling good, and I'm looking at the background, and it looks like you're in a different spot. You're not in front of you're not in the living room, kind of hanging out at the normal desk, because keep in mind, not professionals. We are not professionals. But where are you today? That's not your normal location.
No, I am actually, speaking of professions, I'm out at the farm at Peace Haven Farm today. Took a break to hang out with my friend Italian Job here we are Friday at noon 30. So I can't think of a better place to be. But yeah, this is where if I'm not chilling out at the house or running around in the cover of darkness, I'm generally here at the farm trying to have an impact. So
Well, good deal, man. So you and I had a conversation earlier this week. So this show's a little bit different. Our guest today is you and I, and the subject is really just getting real. And what we've learned over the years and having these conversations with guys around the nation, around the world now, is every man has a story. And every story it kind of shows this rising action, this climax, this falling action, and then kind of the redemption. It's the hero story and the hero path. But I think what we've realized is you and I are telling these stories like we are professionals, that we are experts, and that we have it all figured out. And candidly, you and I have conversations when we're not hitting record, and we talk about how hard life is and how we don't have it figured out. Like, we play professionals on TV, but we are not professionals. And we tell stories, these redemption stories, but we're broken just like everyone else. And so I think it's time to rip the Band-Aid off, be real, have the conversations. And this is kind of the start of where we're going with it.
yeah, it's, what's the saying? Don't compare your behind the scenes footage with others' highlight reel, which is the bane of social media, right? And I think lots of people I don't want to say they're guilty of that. It's a machine at work. It's $1 trillion industry. There are people out there making a lot of money to make sure that you keep on clicking. And so, there's that. But also to your point, and we've said this a litany of times, at the end of any given day, people want to know that they were seen, heard, and valued. You and I have been on a great tear of incredible guests since the beginning of the year, really. And a lot of that is pure luck because we're in an organization and organizations now with NGBN as well, where people are out there telling great stories and wanting to share them. And so whether it's a little bit of luck and a little bit of skill or no skill whatsoever, we've had these really phenomenal guests on. I've just finished reading Terry Williams' book after he was on our show a couple of weeks back for the second time. And
Grace and Grit right there, Terry Williams.
Yeah, so Grace and Grit was a fantastic read. It's going to be the next book we dive into with our shield lock, right? So we can be accountable about being physically faithful and not just physically fit. But yeah, you said it from the jump that we are in a unique position. This Stuff Worth Trying concept really spans in a lot of different directions. What we want to see it become or continue to be and grow into is the depth and breadth of all three Fs. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's great to talk about a CSOP that a region is doing, and if it's having an impact, it definitely is something we want to give away to the guys on the other side of the planet, for that matter. Just as much as if there's a guy who's having a breakthrough in his faith journey, or his fellowship is on point because of an idea that somebody came up with, like that's the stuff we want to get into, and we want to hear about failures too. Not that that's like this elusive fourth F sort of thing, but that's what makes them real. So you're not just getting advice from a paid speaker, right? You're getting wartime stories from a guy who's touched the bottom and is on his way back up, gasping for air. Because sometimes it feels like that for all of us, right? So
you nailed it. I mean,
I'm excited about where we are.
Yeah, I think it's incumbent upon us to tell the stories, the real stories, not the ones we put on social media, the highlight reel, like you were saying. It's really easy to put a message out there of a picture of Thanksgiving dinner where the turkey looks fantastic and all the stuff is lined up, but all behind the camera is a messy kitchen where it's a train wreck. Or how many times have you taken pictures with a family where it looks like a perfect Christmas card, but just before if you kids would, if you don't, we don't tell
Well,
that
pick a
story.
dog.
That's right. We don't tend to tell the story of the times that we weren't good dads, we weren't good husbands, we weren't good employees, we weren't good leaders. We were the guy hiding in the shadows when the heavy weights came out. We don't tell those stories because that would be admitting that we're fallible, that we fail. But candidly, Tommy Boy, my mile's not as fast as it once was. My weight is higher than it's ever been. Um, you know, my job, am I the best employee? I'm pretty good. Am I the best? Is my commitment fully there? I don't know. I mean, but if people tell us all the time, man, you guys are so inspirational. First off, thank you. Second off, we're not. We're really not. We're normal guys who get to tell some awesome stories about other normal guys. But the fact remains, you and I are just guys, just like everybody listening. We have our successes, we have our failures. But I think it's our platform to tell the stories of the guys, not necessarily all the greats, but sometimes the bad parts. I fell down, I scraped my knee. What am I doing to not fall down and scrape my knee again? Someone who is struggling with addiction, and where are they now? Even though in the back of their mind, there's still a pull at them to go back to their old ways. These are the stories, the redemption stories. These are the stories that resonate with me because I'm a failure. I fall down and fall short every single day. But because I get inspiration from men like you who say, yeah, brother, me too. And here's what I'm doing. So that's what we want. We want to hear from guys. We want true stories, not the highlight reels. We want your highlights. Absolutely. But we want to know what happened and how are you keeping it from happening again? And I think that's what's going to resonate. I think that's our platform. That's our opportunity. And it's incumbent upon us to tell those stories. So that's a call to action to the guys who are listening. Reach out to us. Reach out to Tommy Boy. Let's just give our emails real quick. italianjob at f3nation.com.
Yeah, tommyboy at f3nation.com. What a simple concept.
Send us a message. Say, I got a story. And guess what? We'll hit record and we'll listen to that story. It's stuff worth trying. The stuff worth failing, stuff worth learning, the stuff worth succeeding. Let's celebrate together. That's what we want to do. That's kind of the direction we want to take the Stuff Worth Trying podcast and Stuff Worth Trying show. Let's tell some stories. Let's do it together and admit we're not experts and we don't have it all figured out, but together we're better.
Yeah. We're sitting here, a week into March, and historically March has been the mental battle month for the guys in F3. You and I and the entire team at NGBN Network is about to undertake a big task to train up 100,000 people in April with life-saving skills, how to recognize signs of depression, suicide, and the like, and how to move to action to literally save somebody's life. So it's very real. I think about, I was very lucky to go to Wichita a couple weeks ago and spend time with the region, the PAX in Wichita, and it was on the tail of a lot of dark stuff happening at the beginning of the year in my family, in our region. We had just lost a guy tragically, and I didn't want to go, which I can get it, right? That's a lot of weight. But B, what a letdown for the guys who worked together to get me out there. And then I thought about all the people that we had lost, whether it's family members or F3 members. It's like, well, they wouldn't want me to stay home and not be vulnerable with these guys and share. And, lo and behold, I come home with pockets full of incredible stories from guys who were just trying to do the same things we're trying to do, which is be better every day, at least 1% better than the day before. There's imposter syndrome out there. There's fear of failure, and all of those stuff are real. And if you think they're not, you're either fooling yourself or you're about to hit a really thick brick wall. And that's not the point. The point isn't we're going to eliminate these things forever. The point is we are in this together. And our vulnerabilities can validate so many other people. Just this week, I'll tell a really interesting story. We have a PAX member who's been from day one in Greensboro. We're about to turn 10 this fall, who has been diagnosed with cancer, and it's a fight. It's a real fight. Energy levels low, all the things. Who anybody is aware with what that fight entails. It's all the things. But he had signed up to Q a workout this week. And in typical F3 fashion, guys understood what he was going through and wanted to show up in a big way. Secretly, every other Thursday AO converged on this AO, which is a great AO for things like IR, guys who are on the IR, guys who are not into running. There's zero running. We literally stand in a parking lot and do dumbbell weights, dumbbell workouts. We had 66 guys show up.
That's so good.
One of the coolest COT pictures I've ever seen. And just to be there for a guy to let him know that he's loved, he's seen, and we've got his back in any way that we can. And, that's not a happy story, and yet it's an incredibly joy-filled story in the sense that we've talked about it before too, but, happiness is this fleeting thing, but joy is big enough to embrace the entire human experience from cancer to COT and everything in between. So I agree that we can ramp up in 2024 the impact that Stuff Worth Trying has by inviting and opening the door wide open for guys who want to step into that space and get real. Tell us what you're up to. Tell us where the struggles are. Tell us how you're kicking down doors, and let's get into it together.
Yeah, and Tommy Boy, you and I don't tell the stories enough about the dark places that we've been mentally, because we've both been there. We don't tell those stories because a lot of times we are fearful if we say something that somebody will view us as weak. But I mean, it's a weekly occurrence that dark things go through my mind. Am I enough? And would it be better if I weren't in this role or if I weren't in this world? I mean, I've thought these things, and you would never know it because guess what? I'm a hell of a pretender. I'm a hell of I'm a storyteller, and man, I can convince you right now, if you were wearing white gloves, I can sell you some ketchup popsicles. I can sell it all day long, baby. I can make you buy those ketchup popsicles and ruin those white gloves. But that's what we do. We tell stories, and a lot of times we are disingenuous with our stories, and that's not fair. That's not fair to guys to think, oh, those two have it figured out. Tommy Boy, I don't. I'm just going to admit it. I don't have it all figured out. I got ideas. They're not always right. But how about you? Do you got it all figured out? I mean, can I just come to you right now and ask you for the answer to any question? Can you give me that answer?
That's 100% negative. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? We're featherless bipeds exploring the infinite abyss, and that's about all I could wrap up into one day. And through the accountability, through reading Q Source, through the accountability groups like our Shield Locks, we just hope to get 1% better. But to sit here and pretend like we've got it all buttoned up because we have a podcast and a show on the network now, which is great. Really is what we have is a bigger responsibility. And I'm okay with that in the sense that I don't have to have all the right answers for this one. But I do want to find as many great stories out there and make sure that those are heard by other people. But yeah, if you want to have a conversation about all the things I don't do right, we'll get my wife on next week, and that'll be a 4-hour.
True story. I have to tell you this. I had an interview one time. It was a panel interview, 5 people sitting across from me at a table. And it was rapid fire questions. And they were going down a list of prescribed questions. Tell me a time when, those sorts of things.
Yep.
And one guy asked a question. He said, tell me your 5 greatest weaknesses. Now, Tommy Boy, I don't know about you, but you've always got 1 or 2 in the hopper that you can turn and say, but these are actually strengths, right?
Yes.
They're not real.
We all know that trick.
Yeah, it's the games. And then the third one, you start really get into it. And then I kind of ran out at 4. I gave some bogus answer. And then the 5th one, I joked. I said, hey guys, if you're looking for my 5th, we can call my wife and she can give you a whole litany of those weaknesses. Not a smile across the board. I'm staring at 5 stone cold killers. Nothing. And I was like, I'm not getting that job. It ended up working out. I got the job anyway. But no, it was one of those situations of, listen, I got more than 5 weaknesses, but I'm only prepared to tell you 3, 3 of them, and 2 of them are strengths. And
one of them is bedwetting.
That was between us, Tommy Boy. I didn't think you were going to tell everybody that.
Oh, too funny. Well, I do want to underscore the importance and the invitation that's out there for guys to reach out. And some of our favorite guests are ones that are brought on. I don't want to say begrudgingly, but somebody else recognized the greatness in them and convinced them to jump on and have a conversation. Those are great. What we're not looking for is a complaining session. This isn't meant to be like a sad bastard thing at all. There really is the hero's journey is incredible, and it's ever ongoing. So yeah, I heard a great quote this week. We don't want people just to come on and complain or as the quote said, don't show up and fart your grievances into our lives. Cause that doesn't do anybody any good. But rather what is it that you are dealing with, have dealt with, had success with, tripped up along the way with, that you could give away to somebody else? Cause that truly is the stuff we are seeking that is worth trying.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. We've recorded for maybe like 15 minutes. I mean, this isn't a one where you can kind of sit back and listen to it in 3 different, commutes into work. And, that's not the goal of today's message. The goal of today's message, if it's not clear, is it's a call to action. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear those pieces that are worth trying. So other guys who are going through it, because candidly, honestly, we're all going through it. And If you think you're alone, I promise you're not. If you think that you just discovered something that's never been discovered before, you probably haven't. And if you think you're going through something that no one else has ever gone through, I promise you're not. So telling those stories and sharing some insight and things that you've learned. Sometimes, as a child, I remember my parents telling me not to do something, and the way I really learned it was I did it. Even though they said the stove is hot, don't touch it. And here's the scar to prove it. You can see it. That was one of those situations of I just had to do it myself and get a feel for it. But now and we say it all the time, we're beggars showing other beggars where to find bread. We need to tell those stories, those things that we've learned along the way, and let guys know they're not alone. They're not alone in what they're going through. Like you mentioned before, Mental Battle Month, we're in it. We're talking about these things on a routine basis, and so we just want to hear from you. And we want to tell those stories. I mean, Tommy Boy, I don't know if we can ask for it any more times. I mean, we're probably belaboring the point of what we're looking for. But I will tell you, I'm excited to go on this journey. I'm excited to continue to share the time with you and with other men. And it doesn't have to be F3 guys. If you're not an F3, I don't care. If you got a story to tell, I want to hear it. We want to tell all kinds of stories, and we want to tell what it takes for us to succeed together. And that's what it's all about.
One more time for the record books. You can get us at italianjob at f3nation.com, tommyboy at f3nation.com. We're on the Twitters at F3SWT. We're on the Slack at SWT. Basically, if you're trying to hide from us, we'll find you. We won't talk to you about your car's extended warranty. We want to listen to your story and give it away.
I love
that being said, Italian Job, until next time, I love you, man. I'm glad we're on this ride together, and I look forward to what happens next. Everybody else, be good, or for crying out loud, be good at it.
Love you, man. Thank you so much.